everybody! Happy Labor Day 2025, or as I like to call it, the unofficial last day of summer. For anyone interested in knowing, summer for me begins on Memorial Day weekend, midpoint is 4th of July, and finishes on Labor Day. However, this summer for me was very, very different, as I dedicated this summer, in particular, July 16th through August 10th, as Patryks' summer vacation. And that's what this video is all about. How Patryk spent his summer vacation. Let's take a gander, shall we? The first part of my summer vacation, I made a trip to a lovely little country called the United Kingdom. What did I do over in the United Kingdom? I went to the Awdry Extravaganza that was hosted at the Talyllyn Railway in Wales. That's right, I attended the Awdry Extravaganza. Me wanting to visit the Talyllyn Railway had been a bucket list dream of mine since I was 4 years old, and I was determined to go, especially since this was the last Awdry Extravaganza for a while, and this year celebrated the 80th anniversary of the Railway series. So I flew from where I live in the US, and flew direct to London first. I wanted to spend time in London and check out what London looked like. This was also my first time ever overseas, so this was a very huge thing for me to do. Sadly, I did not get to see as much as I wanted to do as I had a train to catch, as part of my itinerary was take the train from London to Wales. But I was able to get some pictures. One place that I did see but was unable to get a picture was Buckingham Palace, so I was not able to show me outside the gates. But I was able to see the London Theatre District, and saw a lot of what the London theatres look like. I wasn't able to see any theatre shows, unfortunately. As I said, I had an itinerary to follow. But the good news is, after this trip, I was able to think of a make up for lost time trip. But that'll happen another day. London reminded me a lot of New York City, and throughout my college days, I went to New York City a lot, and I saw many similarities between the two cities. In my opinion, I thought London was a lot cleaner and more cultured. I'm not saying New York has clean spots and cultured spots, but that was just the vibe that I got. After my sightseeing, I took the train from Euston to Birmingham, then changed tracks from Birmingham to Talyllyn, where the Talyllyn Railway was located. It took over 5 hours, but worth the ride, as I was mentally preparing myself for a fun weekend. Finally, I arrived at Talyllyn and approached the Talyllyn Wharf. And there it was. The Talyllyn Railway. I could not believe I was there. Granted, it was Thursday the 17th, so not really any action was going on. But there were some people already there. I got to meet some of them, but I didn't stay long as I had to check into where I was staying at, and I didn't have much time to lose. Knowing how the weekend was going to be, I chose to conserve my energy until the next day. And then I just rested the whole night and just excitedly waited for the weekend. the Awdry Extravaganza weekend. To keep this portion more concise, I'm just going to combine all the pictures and clips into this section, so you will see me in different outfits. To be fair, to show which day happened, this is the outfit I wore on Friday the 18th, Saturday the 19th, and Sunday the 20th. My initial opinion of the Talyllyn Railway and how the railway looked spot on to the original Railway series illustrations. And this opinion was solidified when we were doing the photo charter trains. I attended one of them, but the day that I went, which was Friday, I stupidly did not charge my phone beforehand. So I only got the following photo recreations. This was done on the last day, but more on that later. Seeing all of the steam engines who were the basis of my favorite characters from the Thomas and Friends TV series, the narrow gauge engines, it still boggles my mind to this day that I got to see them in person for the first time. Even riding in their trains to see what the railway looked like. I took my first train with Talyllyn, who is the railway's namesake, also the basis for the character Skarloey. Throughout the weekend, I got to see all of the trains on the Talyllyn Railway. Some of them even got some updates to celebrate the whole weekend. Talyllyn, the number 1 engine, was dressed up as a mid-Sodor engine named Albert. Number 2, Dalgok, was dressed up as Jerry, another mid-Sodor engine. Here's number 3, Sir Hayden, also known as Sir Handel. Number 4, Edward Thomas, also known as Peter Sam. Number 5, Rustin, also known as Rusty. I even got to see number 6, Douglas, also known as Duncan. Sadly, Douglas's/Duncan's boiler ticket expired, but they were able to put him on a flatbed so he could still celebrate their weekend. Heck, I even saw Tom Rolt, also known as Ivo Hugh, a Railway series exclusive character. And oh my gosh, I got to see Mike the Small Engine, who is really River Mite, from the Ravenglass and Exdale Miniature Railway. I couldn't believe they got him here. Number 2, Dalgok, even got the opportunity to pull River Mite up the line up the entire railway. So technically, people got a ride with Mike the Small Engine. Even George the Steamroller got to pay a visit, although I'm sure he was planning on turning the whole railway into a road. This was the real steamroller that George the Steamroller was based on, that was owned by Teddy Boston, the friend of Reverend Wilbert Awdry. However, this railway clearly has a heart of gold. I don't think anything will get rid of this railway. With each train that I took at the end of the line, I got an opportunity to see how each train gets to uncouple itself and reverse back to the front of the line, get coupled up, and then pull the train back to the wharf. just seeing it all for myself was a very interesting sight to see. For someone who's never seen trains in action up close like that in person, this was something worth seeing, as well as worth filming. Most of my experience prior to this was seeing things on the TV screen or the computer screen. Seeing things in person makes a huge difference. One thing that really stood out to me throughout my travels was how farmy this whole area is. I live in a very suburban area, so I don't really get to see that much farmland or agriculture or animal life or whatever. But all of the farm life that I saw up here, as well as all the greenery, all the nature elements, it was definitely a big change of pace for me. One thing in particular that I do need to comment is, I had never seen so many sheep in my entire life. The large amount of bah, bah I heard, I swear, I thought I was in another world that was run by sheep. So that was an observation that I made that I couldn't really disregard. It was also really fun watching all the passing trains pass us while we were on the line. Whenever we stopped at a station, we'd always see the passing train go by, and it was very common that we were always waving at everybody who were inside the train cars. My guess, seeing everybody passing each other was a sight to see all by itself. It was still fun nevertheless. While I was waiting for my next trains, I went around the whole railway and the whole wharf to meet some other members of the fandom, and they all had their models ready to share. I was fascinated with seeing all the different kinds of models that everyone had. Whether they be like toy models, homemade models, even almost identical replicas of the same models that looked identical to what they look like in the TV series. I'm sure these are all 3D printed. Something I don't have any skill with, and I'd like to learn one day. Speaking of the model series, I got to see some of the actual models in person. This was quite exciting. I essentially got to meet my favorite characters in person. Up the line, I got to see the Rheneas and Skarloey prop from the TV show. I even got to see their face masks that they got to use in the series. I will admit, it took me a while to realize these were the actual TV series props. But then I learned that they were, and I had to take pictures of them. At the same time, I was able to see Reverend Awdry's actual model layout of his Farquhar branch line. So I essentially got to see the origins of what the island of Sodor looked like, through his own models. I'll be honest, I thought some of the models were bigger than I expected, because I was so used to watching the actual TV series throughout my whole life, and the original Thomas prop was a lot longer than I expected. Now granted, I had learned since that the bases for Thomas, the E2s, were a lot longer than Thomas originally was. So, that was a lesson learned. But seeing Awdry's actual layout was very inspiring. I could see how huge of a train modeler Reverend Awdry really was. And it has given me ideas for new content. After that, I got a chance to see the Awdry exhibit, which featured more TV series props. And this was the real deal. I got to see behind-the-scenes photos, historical lore documents that describe how the characters were like in the Railway series and how they were able to be adapted to the TV series. Plus, I saw the following models. I saw the original Gordon prop, the original Duck prop, the Billy prop, something I never thought I'd ever see, the original Thomas prop, the Season 10 onward Edward prop, even got a chance to see them move for a bit, and then I saw the original Henry prop. Side note, me wanting to see the Henry prop was low-key a big dream of mine for a very long time, because I was always fascinated with how the Henry prop looked like in Season 1. And this actually was the Season 1 Henry prop, believe it or not. I got to see for myself how they were able to switch Henry from old shape Henry to new shape Henry. I was not able to actually get that filmed, but the fact that I saw the prop itself, that was a big deal for me. I could not tell you how fascinated I was with the changing of the Henry prop. And seeing the Season 1 Henry prop, whether it be old shape or new shape, it satisfied a wish I had for a very long time. So naturally I had to take a picture with it. Then, I got to see the large-scale Annie and Clarabelle prop, the close-up Clarabelle prop. I got to see some human figures, such as Sir Topham Hatt and Lady Hat, in Sir Topham Hatt's office. And then, I got to see the large-scale Thomas prop in action. And I also had another dream of mine come true. I got to operate the Thomas prop, something I thought I would never do in my entire life. Welcome to the Talyllyn Railway. My name is Thomas. I'll be your tour guide for the day. Please enjoy the day. Thank you. After I left the room from the Awdry exhibit, the smile on my face was indescribable, because I got 2 wishes granted in one moment. Speaking of moments from this trip that I was never going to forget, I was able to ride the basis for Duke, even though it really was not the real basis of Duke, they just got a different version of the train. But for about £2, I got to ride Duke. You could see from the look on my face, I was having the time of my life. And after I was able to blow the train's whistle, yeah, it was worth it. I'm sure a lot of these pictures look very familiar, as if any of you follow me on any of my social medias, essentially, most of these pictures were already posted. But I wanted to put my voice into my pictures, literally. Patryk's putting his voice on the rails. Get it? Patryks. Voice. Rail. Patryks.VoiceRail.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I got to meet so many people involved in this community. I even got to see some cosplaying there, which, I'll be honest with you, I was not expecting. I even got pictures with all these characters too, including Reverend Wilbert Awdry himself, with Duncan glaring at me behind me. And in no particular order, I got to meet the Fat Controller, or Sir Topham Hatt, depending upon where you live, Sir Robert Norramby, Mr. Conductor, the constable who rode up Thomas in Thomas Breaks the Rules, Mr. Fergus Duncan, Jem Cole, the Vicar of Wellsworth, and just some other random Soto residents who were just there too, just for the sake of seeing the Talyllyn Railway for the 80th anniversary. I even got to meet some big fandom members, such as Terrier55 Stepney, the Thomas Theorist, also known as Underground Ernie, Usual Bloke Luke, Enterprising Engine 93. I even got to meet some new friends, such as Jay, Dave, Eric, all with their own usernames on social media, who I'm glad I got to meet. I even got to do some fun activities with some of them too, especially with Jay. This is us attempting to write up Enterprising Engine 93 for creating problems at the Talyllyn Railway. We were all such good sports about it. Fun was had by all. I even got to meet some people who worked on the Thomas and Friends TV series themselves, such as Michael White and Ian McCue, who signed my drawing of Peter Sam. And I swear, I did not plan this, but I had dinner with Ian McCue.
What?
Yeah, that happened. Alright. I think it's fair to share via face-to-face what exactly happened with me being able to have dinner with Ian McCue. Because I think you guys deserve an explanation. Alright, so it was Friday night of the Awdry Extravaganza, and all the events were done, and I had realized that I didn't eat anything, and I didn't have the energy to get back to my lodging in time to actually get something, because I just didn't have the energy. So I found one place that was still open that I got food at, so I ordered my food, and while I'm waiting for my food, I turn around, and who do I see behind me? Ian McCue and Tom Denham. Tom Denham, the host of the Thomas and Friends podcast. So I was immediately like, wait a minute, Ian McCue. Like I was like startled or whatever. So we chit chat for a while, and then they get food, and one thing led to another, and then all three of us, myself, Ian, and Tom, we ended up having dinner with each other at the restaurant. And we had a very lovely conversation. I got to ask him about his time working. I got to ask. I'm like still overwhelmed with this whole thing. Wow, it really meant a lot to me. But yeah, I asked him questions over what it was like for him to work on the Thomas and Friends set, and he got to ask me questions about like how Thomas meant to me in my life, and he was really amazing to talk to. I did give him my business card. I'm that much of a geek. I gave him my business card, and nothing I heard nothing yet, but not to toot my horn, but yeah, but long story short, that's how I was able to have dinner with him. It was just pure circumstantial luck, and we had a very lovely conversation with each other. He was a really nice guy, and just based on our conversation with each other, Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, the Railway series, the whole franchise had a really lasting impact on him. And based on what I've heard him do for the entire Thomas community, I could tell it means just as much to him too. And I could tell he was doing a lot just for the fans because, and this is something I've learned in my own personal life, especially when I'm at work or whatever. If I'm feeling something, everyone's feeling something. And I had that feeling that Ian McCue was feeling the same way we were all feeling. Again, this is just my own speculation based on my own personal experience and observations and just like the general consensus of what... It was just the general consensus that I sensed. But yeah, that's the short version of how I was able to have dinner with Ian McCue. So, I mean, not to rub in anybody's face, but I thought it'd be a fair explanation to share with you all face to face as to what came out of that and what led to that. But it was a really high honor. I'm not even going to deny it. And I'm very happy and very lucky that that even happened. At the end of the day on Friday and Saturday, the Talyllyn Railway hosted these evening entertainment events, which unfortunately I was unable to go to because they were all sold out. In those entertainment events, Tim Dunn and Ian McCue spoke at those events, but from what I had heard, so much was revealed about the island of Sodor that consisted of updates from Richard Awdry, who is the son of Christopher Awdry and grandson of Reverend Wilbert Awdry, and it just shows that the island of Sodor is still operating smoothly to this day. I'm pretty sure there have been other YouTubers who are posting their experience at the Awdry Extravaganza this year, and at the time of editing this video, many of those videos have already been posted. I have not seen most of them. I wanted to wait until this was uploaded to see the rest of them. On the last day of the extravaganza, that's when it got the most exciting. That's when the big group picture was taken, and essentially when the railway was at its loudest and most energetic. When the drone came out and started flying over everybody, that's when the excitement really started to grow. And then everyone was just cheering, and the engines were whistling and honking their horns. And just, it was overall, in my opinion, the most exciting portion of the whole weekend. The entire extravaganza was so much fun by itself, but I think the last part of the extravaganza, where we were all together, cheering and hooting and hollering and getting all excited and all that stuff, I think that was the cherry on top of the entire experience. All of the energy that was going through everybody, myself included, was so great that I don't think anybody wanted to leave. I didn't even want to leave, if I'll be honest with you. It was such a great atmosphere for someone like me to be in. After the photo was over and everyone started to disperse, I left the railway that night because I had to get my flight back to the US on Monday afternoon. So, overall, I spent about a week there, but it was a week worth remembering for the rest of my life. This look on my face, going to the airport from the Talyllyn Railway, is proof that how much I loved this experience was a pure understatement. It did not hit me until I came home that I was actually there. And it was something I will never forget, and I am so proud of myself for accomplishing this at all. This was on my bucket list since I was 4 years old. And I can proudly share, I could check that off that bucket list. Whew! That was a big trip. I may need a vacation from this vacation. Oh, look, I did do another vacation right after this. So, I spent the next week after I came home at a beach house with my family, consisting of my parents, my siblings, their spouses, and their kids. It was a pretty fun trip. I got to see my family who I don't get to see very often. And overall, it was a good time to spend with each other, as we all made up for lost time. During that time, we took family portraits. I'm only going to show mine because I didn't get consent from any of my other family members to show what they look like. So, here's what I look like. Feel free to comment on it. Then, when I finished the beach trip, I went back into my world of trains, going to the Strasbourg Railway, where I got to celebrate the 25th US anniversary of Thomas and the Magic Railroad with the Northwestern Modelers. That was a pretty fun excursion. But my train summer didn't end there. I also attended the Edison Train Show that August, where I got to see so many of the same people, as well as got to see some other people who I don't get to see very often. And that weekend was pretty fun too. I got to finish some commissions that I've been working on for a long time, and was able to give them to some friends of mine. I hope Andrew Liago really likes this. It's his custom OC. There he is. Hey, Andrew?
Yep. Oh, hi, Patryk.
Hey, I have something to give you. Hope you like it. It's his custom OC. Hope you enjoy it. I drew it myself.
Thanks. And now I have a drawing and a model of myself. Oh,
You got drawing version, train version, human versions.
Oh my God, thank you, Patryk.
I'm so glad. On top of giving Andrew Liago his OC drawing, I also gave an OC drawing to Jay, also known as Golden State Sergeant. They were both satisfied with their drawings. I also got to meet up with my friends Ryan and Kevin, who we are working together on a project called Adventure on the Rails. I even took some pictures with some other fandom members, such as SmudgerFan69 and the Thomas Kid. There were some more people there, but one person who I found very exciting to meet was Pathway Films. I really enjoyed talking to him. I was also honored that I got to be featured in his documentary when he was at the Edison Train Show this August. And, of course, I saw all of the model trains, whether it be Thomas the Tank Engine related or non-Thomas the Tank Engine related. I think it goes without saying, I am a train person, and going to these shows really puts a smile on my face. As you can see, I enjoyed my summer. Trains and everything. Alright, well that's how I spent my summer vacation. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Sorry! Alright, your weekend has just expired, Twinkle Toes! Like and subscribe! And by the way, you've been cancelled!
Trains. Railway. Content. YouTube channel. Lots of fun. I gotta go to the United Kingdom again. Thank you, Talyllyn Railway, for a great experience. There is a very big chance I will come back. When that will happen, that costs money. Patryk has to get back to work.